I'm hoping the title gets some clicks. DFS videos will be out tomorrow. I just got back to town yesterday. So let's get right into it, talking about Bubba Wallace. I'm convinced that nobody has any idea what safety is and that they just make it up on a whim. Okay, I cannot fathom why people make an argument that, well, right hooking somebody into the wall at a short track is different than right hooking somebody at a 1.5, okay? And this is not me saying what they should have done with Hocevar. I'm just talking, I'm commenting on what other people are saying, okay? The fact that people are going out there and saying there is a difference between intentionally wrecking somebody at a short track and intentionally wrecking somebody at a 1.5 miles, you need to give your head a shake. That makes absolutely no sense. If you care about safety, you would hate both those situations. Okay, if you run over a child in a school zone at 15 miles an hour or at 55, there's no difference. Okay, if you're a significant other of somebody who is right hooked and intentionally wrecked at a short track versus a 1.5, you're going to react the same way. You don't want to see the person you care about get turned. It makes absolutely no sense. Like, mile per hour should not dictate the amount of anger that you have or the amount of leeway that you have, okay? As I said, people don't care about safety. The fans truly do not care about safety at all. They don't like Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace had the book thrown at him, and this is acknowledging the underlying, the fact that what Bubba Wallace did was wrong, okay? I'm not here defending, right hooking somebody, okay? However, I just find it very funny that people, like, the fans nowadays, like, you don't do research. I'm not saying every fan has to, like, have an encyclopedia of everything that has ever happened in NASCAR, but what are we talking about? You know who used to wreck people? You know who built a career on, wow, you're in my way, I'm gonna move you out of the way. Wow, you bump me, I'll spin you. Wow, like, it's this man right here. What are we doing? You want to talk about somebody who intent wrecked people like crazy? You want to talk about people that, or somebody that people don't acknowledge, like, that part of his history? What are we talking about? It makes no sense at all that nobody is going out. And I've said this all year. Nobody has once said publicly, Dale Earnhardt raced dirty. Dale Earnhardt should not have raced the way he did. I have never heard that. Nobody wants to acknowledge the past until it's like something that they can use, okay? They acknowledge Hocevar spinning Colby Howard, but you don't acknowledge Earnhardt, like, right hooking Darrell Waltrip at Richmond. That's the exact same premise, okay? But Dale Earnhardt was cool. Dale Earnhardt's dead. He can't defend himself now. Dale Earnhardt's 7-time champion. Dale Earnhardt built NASCAR up. We can't talk trash about him, but we'll talk trash about Bubba Wallace. Okay, the amount of insane shit that Wallace has done is part of the reason why I kind of, like, enjoy watching the guy race. He does so many things that you shouldn't do. Like the whole Alex Bowman, when Alex is, like, incapacitated on the ground and he threw water, that was hilarious. Like, no sane person would ever do that. It's like Antonio Brown, O.J. Simpson, these guys that are so outrageously out there that do things that you shouldn't do, like murder people. And, like, it's insane. It's wild. So, like, Bubba Wallace, it was comedical. It was a sitcom. Larson is clearly, like, shook up. He just, like, took a whale of a hit, and Wallace is there, like, shoving. That's another thing. Okay, this is why I say the insane shit that I do. Like, why waste your time wrecking a man and then, like, shoving him? Boop. Oh my God. That was so stupid. Like, you just, like. You're what are you doing? If you're going to go to all that trouble, keep that helmet in your hand, don't drop that helmet, and just clock the guy in the head and call it a day. You made an attempt on his life, but now, since you're face-to-face, you're going to, like, boop him. It's the same argument to be made, like, in history, that anybody can use a gun, but, murdering somebody with a knife or a sword is way more personable. It's like, yeah, Bubba Wallace, truly, you right hook a man, okay, with no care what happens, but then you're shoving him. That makes no sense. That makes no sense at all. Secondly, it would have been fucking hilarious if Larson was injured, okay? Because yes, you would have thrown the book at him, but, like, after everything that's been going on, I can't believe Larson, like, got out and he doesn't have a concussion or anything. You can blame Bell for that. Like, Bell just happened to be in the way. You know, if you get Bell out of there, Larson hits that either still door side. I can't really tell. I've watched the rotation of the car in that. The tires haven't blown out on the 5 car yet. Yes, he makes contact with Bell with his left rear, but part of me thinks that he would have landed like way harder against the driver's side door anyway. Like, I think it was going to come back around and just smack, you know, straight driver's side versus the rear side when it was spinning. Anyway, so that's weird that people are like making the argument of like, you can't right hook a guy at 170 miles an hour, okay? You can do it at 45. You can do it at 80 on a short track, but you can't do it at 1.5. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay, so like you're also an idiot. Like, you can't be on the side of this is different than that. It should all be under one blanket. That's what I mean. Like, fans truly enjoy wrecks, okay? And they enjoy wrecks that they can hate on, you know? Bubba Wallace, you got to say it. Come on. You got to say it. People are being very racist in that crowd, okay? I have been at racetracks, okay, when Bubba Wallace is announced, okay? Driver intros, and I hear nothing but the N-word. I hear nothing but racist sayings and verbalization. You know, people hate Bubba Wallace, and they typically use racism to express that hate, okay? Yet again, that's not me defending Bubba Wallace. I'm just pointing out that stuff that nobody talks about, okay? The fact that people... I shared an article by Daniel on Twitter. Don't remember his exact name. He writes for the Front Stretch. And normally I don't read a lot of the stuff. A lot of the stuff in NASCAR is propaganda. But the fact that he actually like said like, hey, you know, Bubba Wallace got suspended and nobody else has been suspended. That's kind of weird. That's kind of fucked up. It kind of leans into, I think it was because the fucking fans were so loud that NASCAR felt like they had to do this. Yet again, people making a difference between what Noah Gragson did and what this did. Noah Gragson spun somebody at a slow road course. Have you seen those hits? Did you see how Myatt Snyder and Brandon Brown took hits in that? Did you see how Sage Karam got hit on the driver's side? Are you guys idiots? What are you talking about? Okay? The way that these people were reacting was like how people reacted when Sterling killed Dale. Okay? People hated Sterling. People were like just absolutely like hating the man, absolutely booing him, blaming Sterling for killing Dale. Okay, that's what it really does feel like. It's just an angry mob taking their stuff out on Sterling. An angry mob taking all their hate and anger out on Bubba Wallace. Okay, like if Chase Elliott does that, do you think Chase Elliott gets suspended? I truly don't believe. People are like, NASCAR is trying to show no bias. Well, just weeks ago, they're showing biases, okay? Every week they show biases. Remember in the Las Vegas race, in the Xfinity Series race, when Brandon Jones got like a quarter sideways, didn't even spin out and dropped the yellow, okay? NASCAR chooses when and where they want to be, when and where they want to follow the rules, when and where what they want to do. Like, if they want to set new precedents, whatever, they're going to contradict themselves another time this year, I guarantee you. But I don't understand like the opinions and videos out there. I don't understand it, man. I just don't get it. So now we're like choosing when to care about safety. Now we're choosing when to like want to root for people to be suspended. Like, what are we talking about? There was like also during the case, first off, I knew online was going to have a field day with this, whether it was Facebook, Twitter. You got to get a kick out of that stuff, man. Everybody, it's wild what people publicly say online. All the comments against Bubba, it's like, why would you be like blatantly racist online? I don't understand people. These are the same people who vote in our politics on both sides. Okay, these are the same people that you like run into daily at a supermarket that are just like dumb as rocks. Okay, doesn't matter if you're from the southern U.S. It doesn't matter if you're from the northern U.S. Whatever the case is. Okay, it's just wild. Like, as soon as it happened, I go on Twitter. What am I seeing? Just like it's crazy. It was insane. First off, we should take a step back and be like, Kyle Larson does not care about you at all. Bubba Wallace does not care about you at all. Christopher Bell does not care about you at all. You know what I saw in that? I saw my personal 35% Bubba Wallace take out my 15% owned Kyle Larson, turning into my 0% owned Christopher Bell. That's all I saw. I didn't see anything more than that. I didn't care anything more than that. I cared about the money I had invested in the race, and that was how I viewed it, okay? Everybody's all in uproar because White Power Larson got taken out by Bubba Wallace. It's insane. They'd react the same way if, like, Bubba took out Elliott, okay? But do you think people are going to act the same way if, like, Ty Dillon right hooks Justin Haley in the middle of a race? Okay, if anything, when they start fighting, they're going to be cheering, okay? They're not going to be booing. Like, what are we... So that was pretty nuts. Okay, this whole week has been pretty nuts. The amount of, like, I mean, I'm smiling. I just smile at, like, how wildly openly people are gonna be cheering. Like, when they go to Homestead this weekend and they cheer on John Nemechek driving the 45, the crowd is gonna go fucking apeshit. Okay, they are going to just cheer the loudest thing ever because Wallace isn't at the racetrack. Like, that's hilarious. That's so funny. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. What else? Let me go through my notes here. But yeah, it makes my big thing is like people care about safety and stuff. People are talking about, oh, Bubba Wallace did this the same week Kurt Busch announced his retirement, which, yet again, hey, thumbs up to me, you know, kind of calling career-ending injuries and deaths. We didn't get a death, but we got a career-ending injury. I will take that as a one-for-one trade. Secondly, now people care about safety. Like, where have you guys been? What is going on? Now you hate the playoffs? Now you hate these cars? Like, where have you guys been? Okay? I don't understand that at all. Let me think. What else? Those are the main points I wanted to bring up. If I think of anything else, we'll continue talking. Yeah, lastly, so, like, people don't like Noah Gragson because he's, like, out, you know, he's got a really loud personality. He wrecks people and moves people out of the way. They don't like him. They don't like Ty Dillon. Not Ty Dillon. They don't like Ty Gibbs. Well, Ty Gibbs is a spoon-fed baby. You know, Ty Gibbs is a spoiled brat. Yeah, but he knows how to race, and he races a lot like this man. If you go back and watch how Ty Gibbs races, it's uncanny. Why do I like Ty Gibbs? Because he races like this man. Okay? People are going to be like, Earnhardt didn't race like Ty Gibbs. Earnhardt wasn't spoon-fed, baby. It don't matter what your history is. It matters what you do in the car, all right? And Ty Gibbs races a lot like that man right there. It's fucking wild. People, that's mainly the Dale rant. Like, people idolize Dale. I love Dale Earnhardt. Why do I like him? Because he moved fuckers out of the way. You got in his way. He made him mad. He moved you. He was literally intimidator because people were scared that he would put you in the hospital. Okay? Not wreck you, not take you out. In those days, you get right hooked, you get spun, you're getting injured. Okay? You're going to the hospital. The intimidator, more like the gravedigger. You know? More like the assassin. Like, what? And now people like intentionally wreck, and that's it. Secondly, I don't know if you guys watched the end of the, was that Salem? The end of the ARCA series race. I can't remember their names right now, but I saw this last weekend when one guy gets like ruffled up, or like he barely just gets moved out of the way. People are racing hard. It's Infinger and the two other guys race. I think it was like Sammy Smith and somebody else. Watch the end of that race, and then watch one of those guys throw a fit when he got rubbed a little out of the groove, and he's like furious. Like, I am convinced that people either want the cleanest racing as far apart as you can be, or just absolute like carnage. There is no longer an in-between. If you race people hard, but you don't like wreck them, like you move somebody out of the way from like second to third, and they like want to fight you, that's more of like a cultural issue. That's more of a cultural shift than these people like racing like wild. I know we're way down the path, but do I think Bubba Wallace should be suspended? No. Do I think anybody should be suspended when they intentionally wreck somebody? No. I'm not a Bubba Wallace, truther at this point. I just enjoy chaos, okay? I'm very disappointed that Bubba Wallace got suspended, and then I guarantee you the next time somebody intense wrecks somebody, even in like a lower series, they're not even going to get fined. They're not even going to get suspended. It doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter. Everybody was like shitting on, I don't know. It's just wild, man. It's just wild. It blows my brain how violently hateful some people can be, and then just like the fact that people dropped videos like that day being like, Bubba Wallace needs to be suspended. You can't have that. You can't have what? A hard race because it's 180 miles an hour? Okay? That makes no sense at all. You can wreck people. Byron can wreck Hamlin in the grass. That's different. You know, Hamlin got spun at Texas into the grass. He didn't have any damage. What does that have to do with anything? Are we now judging by how high a casualty rate can be from an incident to judge like what you do? You know, I don't like Ty Gibbs because he bumped Ty Dillon near a bunch of personnel work, near a bunch of crew members. Okay, like you either want him suspended for that or you don't. You know, like you guys, we can't be picking and choosing when we're suspending people. That's all I ask. I ask people to be honest. If you guys like wrecks, if you guys like people fighting, okay, embrace it. Don't hide it. But don't hide it behind, Bubba Smollett always causes issues. He needs to be getting rid of. He needs to be removed from NASCAR. I mean, you could just be like me and root for wrecks and root for everybody to like fight and tit wreck people. That's entertaining instead of like choosing when to come out of the woodwork and be like, we can't have this type of racing. We can't have somebody who moves people out of the way. We can't have people wrecking on purpose. We can't have people be injured. You know, we can't have individuals out there racing with their emotions instead of racing smart. We need to have good, clean racing. Think about the children. Think about, you want them to see people who race clean. You want them to see people, you know, race fair. We don't reward championships to people who are intentionally wrecking people. We don't reward championships and wins to people who move people out of the way. That ain't good racing. You can't make a career out of that. Anyway, I'll see you guys later.